Oh, we are live. Caught off guard there briefly by an alarm going off.
Yeah, we kind of lost track of time.
Welcome to the Worst Golf Podcast. Everybody wants to be the best. We strive to be the worst. When a bad take is necessary, we're going to be here to share with you. I'm your host, JB, and with me is Morgan.
Hello.
She'll spend most of her time off camera, keeping me in line with all those buttons. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you're watching it there and like the video. It's important to us and it helps us more than you know. Morgan, we got a lot going on.
Yes.
But first off, we're back. We had a brief little break there with a couple of events and some travel going on, but we're back and we're live.
We are? Yes.
And we have a lot to talk about, wouldn't you say?
We do. Sorry, I'm keep checking my watch because I think we're about to get a package delivered.
Yeah, there's some packages arriving to the office here. And when that happens, there's a little critter right here who's going to start going nuts, barking, getting up, doing everything he does. So right now he's sitting peacefully in his little director's seat there. Excuse me, this cough is still the cough that keeps on giving. 3 months in, fresh back from California and then North Carolina. But we're going to do another show live next week. And people had asked, are we doing one next week? We are. And we're going to have a contest and a giveaway on that one that you guys are not going to want to miss.
Here's the best part. Just before the show, I said, are we going to do it live or should we pre-record? He's like, I don't know. We'll play it by ear. And then he literally just said, we're going to do it live.
Well, I was going to do live or simulated live. They wouldn't know if it was live or not.
I mean, they would because we wouldn't be able to read their comments.
That's a good point. We would just be like, we're ignoring your comments today and then pretend it's live.
Yeah.
But for those tuning in, we got a lot of good stuff to go over. But yes, next week we're going to have a giveaway. Hadn't figured it out yet and have it narrowed down to a couple of different things, but it's going to be pretty cool. So you're going to want to tune in to see that if you're around for the holidays. Jumping right into it, I'm going straight to your Get Off My Lawn segment because it pertains to what people are doing now, which in this crazy winter storm up north, they're trying to go shopping.
Yeah, they're going crazy at the grocery store. So my Get Off the Lawn is shocking, has to do with food in the grocery store because that's pretty much where I spend my life. It's expired food at the grocery store. Now, I'm the kind of person where if I buy something and I have it and it has a best by date and it's like, a couple days, even a week past, depending on what it is, like it's good. I'm going to eat. Yeah.
Trash.
He won't. I'll eat
Trash.
it. I don't care. That's wasteful. It's just marketing. Like, I don't care. Like, I'm good. But if it's already past that date at the grocery store, I've got a real problem with that. So that's my Get Off My Lawn because I randomly bought I was like a sucker who bought one of those protein bars at the checkout counter, and it's a brand I wanted to try. So I was like, oh, I'll give it a try. And I get home and I eat it. I'm like, man, this thing tastes, it didn't even taste weird. It was just like I had a weird texture. And then I checked and it was like a month past the expiration date already. So I was pretty pissed about that. So anyway, that is my Get Off the Lawn. So while you're at the grocery store, check the dates.
No, they're not suggestions.
They are
Big
suggestions.
in the thing saying it's a suggestion
No, they
for
are.
consumption. Nope. I'm with David Hibbler. Don't like that at all. She's trying to poison me. Just remember, if I'm not in this seat, it's because she served me something that expired.
It literally says Best Buy, not it's going to make you sick by.
Well, it doesn't mean it's not going to make you sick by.
It does.
We got a bunch of THPR questions, and we're going to get to them throughout the show. The first one came, and I'm going to give a cop-out answer here, but it was our favorite event to look forward to and the favorite course that we do. And I'm going to use 2022 as kind of a guide here because we haven't done any in 2023 yet. We have a pretty big schedule coming up. And the cop-out answer is the Granddaddy and the Hideaway. There's nothing like it. It's just exceptional. There's a couple people in the chat who are just in one. Being out there is a special event and experience and something that we hope every THPer gets a chance to do at some point. But it's truly one of a kind, and I can't say enough good things about it. When you pull into the Hideaway, because one of the questions was about the course, and you start seeing everything and the way it's cared for, it's definitely something that can be as much of a life changer, I guess is the best way to say. I hate that cliche, but as much of a life changer as you want to make it. That's true.
I know what you mean. And I think that even just when people start posting the pictures, whether it's past ones or for the current that happened, you see the pictures and it just, as the kids say, it gives you the feels. I think that's what they say.
I don't think they say that.
I think they do.
we said a couple of episodes ago that we had a new sponsor, and I wanted to take a second and share why we have that sponsor, because this is not a sponsor that came to us. This is a sponsor we went to.
Yes.
So some of you who have been around a long time may have played golf with me and a golfing partner I had by the name of Tim. And Tim, one of the first times we ever played, had a giant hole in his face, I guess you'd call it. I guess first year we played, and he had some skin cancer carved out of his face. Didn't listen, and last year got half his ear cut off for that same thing. It caused me to switch to a bucket style hat. If you'd seen pictures from any of our events, I've switched to that. But we wanted to get a skincare product as part of a partner to the Worst Golf Podcast, and we did in Coral Safe, which is a brand I use. The link is in the description, and we'll have another link on the forum. It's not crazy overpriced suntan lotion or anything like that, or sunscreen. It's reasonably priced, but they have two products I cannot recommend enough for a golfer. The first is a thing that looks like a deodorant stick, and it's for your face, ears, and everything else. It makes it so easy to put on. It's under $10. And you just put it on like you would a deodorant stick, roll it on. It's not really a roll, but like a deodorant stick.
Yeah.
To get your ears, your nose, your face, the back of your neck, things like that. And then the second one is an SPF 30 that just clips to your bag like your rangefinder would. Both of those items can be out the door for $20, I believe. I don't know what the shipping is and if you have to hit a certain amount. In this case, Matt asked, is it spray or lotion, or which one's better? I think they're both good. It's just about coverage. But both of these products make it super easy to make sure you're covered. They're biodegradable, the whole 9 yards. So hit them up. Again, $20 out the door for the two products I recommend. They have others. Now, they are sold out of a number of products. Those two are not. But the face stick, literally, it's a thing that's about the size. For those people listening, you can't see this, but I'm sharing it. It's exactly like picking up a thing of deodorant, a stick, antiperspirant, and you just keep it in your bag, and it'll last you a year. To me, anyway. I don't play a lot of golf, though. And then the lotion clips to your bag, reapply it twice around. You'll be good to go. I'm not big on preaching about this stuff, but after having a really close friend of mine and a golfing partner have skin cancer on two separate occasions and have to get large chunks of his body carved out, like, please, guys, even if you don't use this sponsor, please make sure you're applying it and reapplying it. And if you don't use this deodorant stick, buy any, because it really is great to make sure that you are covered on your face. Like, it is so easy to use, to put on the forehead, the cheeks, the nose, and the back of your neck, and then a little bit right here without getting it all over your hands.
I think the ears are always one people forget too.
Yeah, he literally has half of an ear at this point. He looks like Evander Holyfield.
Somebody asked if it was greasy or oily.
No, it's not greasy. I carry a little thing of those little wipes. Not dude wipes, not for diping up, but to reference back an old show. But like those little wipes, and I just wipe my hands off afterward anyway.
Yeah.
But it's not real greasy, no. So hopefully you guys pick it up. Again, the link is in the description of this video. And for those listening, the link, we have a forum thread that'll launch shortly after this live show where you'll be able to click right on it. I even have a picture of the two items. That'll be up probably within about an hour on our forum. And then we'll share it on social media too for those that don't follow on the forum. Jumping back into THPR questions. Favorite holiday food or drink? And I'm going to turn this one right to you.
All right. This was pretty easy answer for me. All things peppermint. I know there's a lot of controversy on peppermint and people love it or they hate it. I freaking love it. Can't get enough of it. Give me everything and anything peppermint. Now, the only problem I have with things that are peppermint for the holidays is a lot of time it's connected to white chocolate. I don't love white chocolate, but peppermint is so good that I will break my rule on that and still eat it. So that's my answer.
I'm going a different way with this one, which is I like the peppermint answer.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the idea of eggnog, and I like eggnog to an extent. But every time I get eggnog, I find that I liked the idea of eggnog more than eggnog.
Yeah.
Am I alone? Leave us a comment and let us know what your thoughts are on eggnog. Like, you give me the real eggnog, with some brandy in there.
Well, I was going to say booze or no booze.
Yeah, booze, obviously. Even though neither one of us are big drinkers.
No.
But for eggnog, I do think it's better with booze. but I love the idea of it. And then I drink it and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good, but it's not as good as the idea of it. And I feel that way about white chocolate peppermint too.
No, that's delicious.
No, peppermint is delicious and chocolate peppermint is delicious, but the white chocolate version is just, it sounds better than it is.
Well, yes, because white chocolate is gross. It's not even chocolate. It's just
No, it is
sugar.
not chocolate.
No, it's gross.
The sugar is delicious.
But the peppermint makes it acceptable.
Give me all the diabetes. All of them. I
All
don't
of
want
it.
diabetes. I want diabetes.
Okay.
Actually, I don't want either of those.
No.
That's starting January 1st for me. So I made a social media post of the diet will start next week last night because I was eating some cinnamon rolls. But this all started because I was up at Dormie Club last week playing golf in the freezing cold and rain. Shout out to my new rain gear from Galway Bay that I happened to just fall in love with the pants. But before getting ready for the first day, we played 9 holes and it wasn't raining. And I put on this pair of pants that have always been like slightly big.
Mm-hmm.
And I did the thing where I was walking and I looked down and they had folded over. You know, those guys will know what I mean when you're looking and they're like slightly folded over the belt. And I was like, holy shit. Holy stuff. I'm fat. So that's changing.
The best, you called me and you said, so I bought a shirt. It's the same brand I've bought 100 times. And it's the same size I've always bought. It's a little snug.
So it's funny you say that because that's exactly true. I literally bought the shirt at the Hideaway and I tried it on at the hotel and I was like, wow, did I get... So rewind a few years. I picked up a quarter zip I loved there and I was like, oh, that one's a medium. Haven't fit in that since high school. So put it back and picked up the same exact one, or what I thought was in my size, go to the desk, check out, leave, get on the bus. We're leaving. We're going back to Carlsbad. Pull it out and say like, look, oh shit, stop, bad. I bought a vest, not a quarter zip. Remember that?
I do.
So
it was a nice vest.
This one was similar in that I bought the shirt, but it wasn't the wrong shirt. But I found myself searching the tags to see if it said tailored fit anywhere. But it didn't. It was just like, okay, fatty, it's time to maybe put the fork down. So I decided, but at Dormie Club, I was wearing these pants that have always been too big on me. They're a pair of Puma pants, and they're like, got to cinch them a little bit, you know, where you get the little belt wrinkle right there. Well, I had a different kind of belt wrinkle. Now it's the belt fold to where the pants slightly fold over, and you're just like, oh God, you got to keep fixing it because if anybody sees you like that, they're like, Tubby, like get the right size. And so I'm dealing with that. So starting January 1st, I'm going to have her put me on a diet. She knows the food better than I do. And it will not involve fast food, sadly.
No more fast food.
And somebody wrote bulking season. We don't really have that in Florida. The best diet you could possibly do is move to the Midwest where you just get to layer up because then everybody looks kind of bigger.
Yeah, you can't tell.
Yeah. So yeah, that's all changing and I'm getting back into the swing of things. And we got way off on a tangent on holiday food, but another THP question involved food, and we'll jump right to that, which is one type of cuisine only.
Yes.
Where are you going?
So I think originally it said like you can choose between like Mexican, Asian, I forget the other ones, Italian, something like that. So I thought about this for a while, and I think while Italian is probably my favorite, I think I would pick Mexican because I feel like I could be a little more versatile in my choices there. So yeah, I'm going Mexican.
So as usual, I put way too much thought into this and battled back and forth like 100 times. One of the choices was Asian.
Yes.
And I chose that one strictly because that's not one area. It's multiple. So I get Chinese, Japanese, Thai, Vietnamese, all of those. And I love all that style food. I was borderline Italian, though, because I'm a big seafood fan. And Italian has some of the best seafood around. And, you know, give me Fra Diavolo almost every night and I'm happy. But I'm going Asian, and that's kind of my final answer.
So I have to say that I'm kind of you're fine. I'm kind of surprised by this answer a little bit because you don't really find cheese or dairy in Asian food, and you are a big fan, and you also don't usually see a ton of desserts. And so I'm kind of surprised by that too.
But you know that I go on a swing of desserts. Like when I cut out sugar, and I'm pretty good about it. You know, I haven't not recently. But.
Do you remember? So I don't know if we've talked about this, but we did this thing where we're like, okay, we're gonna cut out sugar.
We did the 10-day challenge of nothing sugar.
Right. We said nothing sugar. So I thought for sure I was going to outlast him. I think like it was straight out of the Seinfeld episode. Like 30 minutes later, I like put my money down. I was like, I'm out. Like I couldn't last more than 30 minutes.
Little different contest.
Very different contest, but you get the point.
Yeah. You didn't last long. We actually
you made it like
I did the whole thing. I did the whole thing.
Yeah, I did not.
I can do it though. If I couldn't do it as a lifestyle, but I could do it if I put my mind to it for 30 days or so. I follow Michael Verska. He's pretty much been on a keto diet for 2 or 3 years. And he looks fantastic. Dropping what did he say, 40 pounds almost
something
total?
Like that. And he said that like he'll eat cake on his birthday. That's it. And he even said it like it doesn't interest him anymore. Like he has no like even when he tastes something like that, it doesn't do it for him anymore.
Yeah, I can't give up all carbs because I love pasta too much.
Yeah, I could never give up carbs.
I could definitely cut down on the sweets and the sugar in general. And so that's my plan, and I'm tackling it. Somebody said, but you're going to Dormie Network all year. I am. I'm not a big believer in quick fad diets. I do one every year for the PGA show, and it never lasts, but that's done by design. I'm more of let's change the lifestyle a little bit. And I got down to 175, and I was pretty good.
Yeah.
That was the goal weight, and I hit that, a year ago.
Yeah.
And well, no, it was 2 years ago because we didn't go last year.
No.
And now I'm back up 15 plus pounds over that. And based on the fit of those pants, probably 20 pounds over that. That was embarrassing. And it's not the number like 190, 185 or whatever it is.
That's how you feel.
Everybody's built different.
Yeah.
Like, I hold the weight in one region. It's in the fat
the
region.
It's the beer gut without the beer.
Yeah. So it's time. So, but going back, yes, my food would be Asian just because of the amount of choices there. Keeping with the food theme, give us a recipe of the week.
Okay. We'll keep it with the food theme.
Oh my God, I almost fell out of my chair.
Oh,
thank God you're on camera.
How did we not get that on camera? And I'm gonna go with comfort food because it's getting cold and it's just that time of year, but I'm gonna lighten it up for you. So this one is a chicken pot pie casserole. It's phenomenal. And
this one is really good, guys.
You use crescent rolls as the topping.
So kind of come out of the tube, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like super easy. This is so easy to do. And I took the chicken. So the recipe says to boil chicken and then you can shred it. I just threw it in the crock pot early in the day and then just let it go and then shred it after. But you could totally use rotisserie chicken if you have that, and then you don't even have to deal with cooking the chicken. It's really easy recipe and it makes really great leftovers. It actually tasted better the next day. I threw in extra vegetables and used fresh instead of some of the frozen, but whatever. You can do whatever you want. Doesn't matter. And I put my notes on the forum. I have the thread already set up and ready to go. So after the show, you'll see it and then kind of let you know of a couple changes that you can make to it. Like I made it into 4 servings because I only had a pound of chicken. This calls for 1.5 pounds and 6 servings. So play with it, make it your own. But honestly, it's really, really good. And it gives you that good comfort feeling, but with less calories.
And if you follow on the THP forum, for those listening, you'll see that each one of these recipes gets posted there, as she said, but people are starting to make them.
Yes.
And it's kind of cool to see how much they like them.
I know.
Like,
and
I'm not making this up. I'm not a picky eater, and neither is she.
No.
But I like what I like. And every one of them that you've done on here, I've been a fan of.
Yeah, it almost has to be JB approved for me to post it.
Life should be that way.
Oh, God.
Moving on, more THPR questions. This was an interesting one. What is the worst hot take of the year? And
it's a loaded question.
Boy, there's been a lot of them. I decided to not put any limits on this one because there's been some really bad equipment takes. But a lot of those go back years. So I'm going to stick with anything live golf related. And what I'm going to expand on that a little bit, because what I mean by that is it's so political and polarizing. Like the live golf thing is just a microcosm of society today. And you watched like live golf, for instance, could cure prostate cancer. And somebody would say that's sexist. Whereas the flip side of that is the people who are all in on live golf, it's like the PGA Tour announces that they're going to do something that's really good. And it's F that, live did it first. Like, just stop. all these takes are so bad. People can't even have a conversation anymore. I tried to kind of talk with people about, yeah, the PGA Tour had major issues going into this thing, still do. The amount of bloat in there. Nobody can drive by their building down the street from us here in Ponte Vedra area and think that there's not waste going on. I mean, there's no doubt there is. It's one of the nicest buildings I've ever seen. And I know a lot of people who work there that probably shouldn't be. I don't mean that as they're not qualified. I just mean there's a lot of people per position. The flip side of that is like everything, like you got to take a step back and look at what's going on with Live Golf and stop choosing sides. And as a golf fan, just discuss. And not everything has to be a hot take. And there's some of these takes are so bad.
Yeah, it's hard for people to see like the gray area of anything anymore.
I watched these, what I'll call reputable journalists, which I'm using that term loosely, but go on this tangent about Live Golf having to buy network coverage and how that shows that they're not successful. And let me explain two things about that. First, up until recently, the LPGA always did that. And no one person has ever said that that meant that weren't successful. Second thing, the PGA Tour used to do it too. Buying network coverage does not mean a network does not want to pay you for coverage. It means you think you can earn more selling your own commercials for that coverage than they're paying you for the slot. That's all it means, period. Now, was somebody bidding for Live Golf? No idea. I believe I know one company that was, but I can't answer that factually. But it does not mean that nobody was after them and they're doing this. They just think they can make more money selling elsewhere. Now, when you have somebody like Greg Norman in charge of it, who is possibly the most polarizing figure in golf outside of maybe Tiger Woods, which is weird, you're going to get this black and white divide. But overall, like, just move on. It's not worth the hassle of the trolls on one side or the other. Does that make sense?
Makes sense to me, yes.
Do you have any worst hot takes, or are you going to stick with mine?
I'm going to roll with yours.
Okay. Next THPR question is a good one. It's kind of fitting and timely. How would I choose to use the golden ticket if I was granted one?
Okay.
So for those that don't know, we do a series of 12 or so events, 10 to 12 events each year on the THP forum. We call them THP experiences. They're unlike anything else in golf. Win a trip, comes with equipment. In most cases, you get to play golf with the people who made that equipment, brought that equipment to market, learn, play amazing golf courses. I think every one of our events is at a private course now. And it's pretty exciting stuff. Well, a few times a year, we give away a prize called a golden ticket, which means you can skip the line and choose whichever event you want to go to, with the exception of the Granddaddy. That's separate.
Yes.
How would you choose?
Oh,
putting you on the spot. We never even asked you.
Yeah, like, don't put me on the spot. You already had a response ready.
Okay, I'll answer. For me, it comes down to our experiences come with some obligations, which is you hope that the person receiving all this brand new equipment is going to talk about that equipment. We say it's part of the event, but you're meeting people from the internet. You never really know what they're going to do. So we ask that they discuss that equipment on our community forum, our message board, our online forum. And so you have to think about that obligation. Mm-hmm. Then you got to think about budget and what it's going to cost you to get there. Some of our experiences are free, completely free. Shaft Up, for example, including airfare, completely free. Some of the other ones might come with a price tag of you have to pay for your travel, and then there's a small entry fee to do it, a few $100s up to $500 or $600, depending on our costs, really.
Right.
Which, if that only covered our costs,
it's not even close.
No, it's about a third. So those are the things you have to pay attention to. But the most important aspect for me, if I was choosing, is what company it is. Most people have some sort of equipment allegiance. And I don't mean that as a bias or a brand loyalty to a T. I mean that you might have, if you haven't been blown away by a company, you might see a set of irons and you're like, oh, I love what I'm seeing there. Or you like the way they handle themselves in marketing or social media or what they're putting out. And you would gravitate towards that because you might want to meet those people behind the brand. or you might be getting that equipment. Usually it's pre-release, but something like that. So to me, I always view it as equipment and budget first.
Yeah. See, I think too that there's a couple things. Like, as a non-golfer, it's hard for me to really answer this question, but location would be something that would potentially be interesting to me, because if it was in a location where either like I wanted to go to or something like that, I don't know. And then it would also be maybe if I had a hole in my bag, or if I had a spot in my bag and a specific event was going to cover that equipment that like I'm looking to replace, or that maybe I need help with, or something like that, that might be where I decide to choose that event over others. But it's hard as a non like true diehard golfer for me to answer that question. But I think you did a really good job.
Yeah, and I'm going to add one more thing. When someone says, where should I go on our forum, since the Granddaddy's not included, everybody immediately says the Morgan Cup. And there's nothing wrong with that event. It's,
no, it's
fantastic.
Awesome.
It's named after her. It's a great event. But you can usually tell the people who don't follow the other ones based on that, because they're like, oh, I only want a team event. Well, most of our events are team events.
Yes.
Or I want new equipment. Well, most of our events come with equipment. So, you really do have to dive into what brand you have an affinity for, and location, as Morgan just said, and go from there. So I think it's an interesting question, and it's a decision, frankly, I'm glad I don't have to make.
Yeah, seriously.
But it's something that I would definitely keep in the top of my head as I'm making that decision, is what brand jumps out to me. If you have a favorite, that's an easy decision.
Yeah, for sure.
If your favorite is a brand we don't do an event with, well, then give the ticket to somebody who has better brand favorites. Can I say that?
Maybe. I don't know.
We choose who we do our events with, and we do it for a reason. Somebody asked a really interesting question, and it's really interesting to me because I happened to have a conversation via email with somebody about this direct topic yesterday, which is the average golfer purchasing habits. And we've talked about this before, which is, when do people buy? Is the average person changing drivers every 5 years, 10 years, 1 year? What is it? Well, that's interesting. So I'm going to start with that. When you're looking at the purchasing habits as a curve, and for people listening, I'm doing like a wave on the screen. Your early adopters jump right in, usually week of, month of, that kind of thing. Then you see a swell at about 6 months after equipment's been out for a little bit, and then you start to see equipment decline. But that does not mean that's the same year for every golfer.
Right.
So from a retailer, and that's from one OEM, by the way. From a retailer, I reached out and asked them. They said that the average golfer changes driver every 18 months and irons every 3 years. Now, I have no idea how accurate that data is, but I can say it mirrors a second retailer, the second one being an online retailer that's pretty large, almost to a T. They said the average person changes driver every 16 months and irons every 3 years. So if that's the case, then, the bell curve makes a little bit of sense, but it also makes a lot of sense from a cost standpoint. Now, what's interesting to me is, as costs of products have increased, that hasn't changed.
Interesting.
In fact, it's argued that it's gotten slightly shorter. Now, part of that is people have some extra money in their pocket, or had, I should say, a couple of years ago. So that would play a role there. But it's a really interesting aspect of how brands handle inventory and what is exciting to golfers. And as we saw last year in the driver market, and I'm going to speak real in general terms, one driver came out of the gates really hot, fresh marketing, new look product. And then as fitting takes shape, and as more people get to demo days and in fitting bays and try it out, it tapered off a little bit, and another driver jumped up because of the performance. I'm assuming that's the reason, because of the performance.
Right.
So just something to keep in mind for those people who are interested in that kind of thing. I can dive deeper into that in the forum, where I can type out some stuff.
Question. I don't know if you can answer this or not, but do you think part of that bell curve and what you're talking about with the 6 months has to do with January releases versus people actually purchasing at the time that they can play golf?
Fantastic question. And the answer is yes. The biggest months of gear selling usually becomes when, I'll call it the rite of passage into spring, the Masters month, April, May. And when, in historically speaking, January releases were released at PGA show, come to market a month to 45 days after that, and go from there. Now it's changed a little bit, whereas most release before the PGA show, show at the PGA show and start pre-sale there. Pre-sale meaning pre-order to make sure you get one. Although I guess last year and the year before that, we did have struggle getting one. So you wanted to pre-order.
Yeah, I think it's a little better now.
And then it starts to pick up again. So, to answer your question, yes, that absolutely has to do with the bell curve. You had the pre-orders right away, then it slowly shifts up and peaks right around that April, May.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. So hope that answers the question of the person who wanted it. I want to remind people that, we've been talking about these trips and stuff. We're literally giving away a trip right now on our forum to go play the Dormie Club with Evolve Golf. 2 lucky winners. We're paying for the golf, the lodging, the food, the drinks, the whole 9 yards. You just got to get yourself there. It's right outside of Pinehurst. Easiest airport, I think, would be Raleigh-Durham. It's about an hour away.
I think so, yeah. I think that's what we figured out.
And we're giving that trip away right now. The contest will stay open through the weekend, and then we will announce a winner. So this is your chance. You can win a trip to somebody who makes some of the coolest bespoke items there are.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Between the best socks on the planet, the best tees on the planet, the best divot repair tools on the planet.
I think a lot of people discovered those socks during that sale.
Yeah, I think so too. So it's a chance to really dive in and play an amazing golf course. If you like North Carolina golf or you've never experienced North Carolina golf, this is by far my favorite there. Also happens to have a great pro shop. So definitely jump into that. Jumping to the next THPR question is like a 2022 recap and goals for 2023. Now, I'm going to switch it to you for a second because I want you to kind of answer. You have different goals than me as far as like organization.
Yeah, my biggest goal for 2023 for us is to be so streamlined and so organized, and that there's never a question. We never skip a beat. We never have an oh crap moment where like, oh, we forgot to do something or got
I've done
delayed.
that a few times this year.
Yeah, it's happened. And you guys might not realize it, but we do. And it's like super panic mode. And it's a terrible feeling. And I don't want to do that again. So just being as organized as possible, and we'll figure out exactly how to get that done. But I'm genuinely pretty excited about that.
So for me, somebody asked this, and I think it meant a little more forward facing, whereas yours is more back end. I just laughed in my head, by the way, when I said back end.
Oh my God.
So recap 2022, it was a great year. People were able to get out and do more things again, and that was important. 2023 is setting up to be something a lot of fun. If you have the passion for the game like we do, and the rest of our community does, you're in for a treat. Our Albatross Club members have just a special amount of things coming between trips and other items and things like that, that it's going to be a pretty special time that I think everybody's going to, I don't want to say enjoy, but we're going to work hard to make sure that you guys are involved through the process as much as possible, through this show, through Off Course for those that listen to Dan's show that drops each Friday. We're skipping this week being the holidays, but there's going to be a lot of stuff coming there that I don't think people are going to want to miss. If you love golf, we want the entire idea behind everything is to bring fun back to it. Everything is so serious all the time. When I search out to find something to watch or listen to, it's to get away from that stuff. And we're going to try to do that on our online community and this show and Dan's show as well. So does that make a lot of sense? Yeah.
Real quick, I wanted to answer. Yes, David Hibbler, you are the one saying it correct. It's epoch, not epic.
Was somebody asking that?
A couple people said that they pronounced the epoch tees epic, but it is not epic. It is epoch.
Next THPR question is, how do we pick captains? So that's an interesting one because we talk about it a lot.
Yes.
I've even put it out there that I see Dan in our comments just said we're going to do 5 shows a week, do 5 shows next week. If Dan lived in Florida, we probably would go live 5 days a week.
You probably would.
as crazy as that is. We might need a subscription service to see that nonsense, because God knows what kind of trouble we'd get into with the talk. We pick captains very, I don't want to say simply because a lot goes into it, but we pay attention to who's active on the forum.
There's core points.
Yes. In our golf sections, we pay attention to who is talking about golf equipment, because every event is around golf equipment. And we pay attention to who is following other event live update threads, because those people get a sense of cheering on the people involved to making them feel important, so it reciprocates back to them. And B, they get an understanding of what those threads are like. And when you wrap that up, you add in, don't be a piece of shit, don't be a jerk. Sorry,
you're good.
It's the holidays, it slips sometimes.
Have you been drinking that eggnog?
I wish. No, sponsored by C4, which we are not
sponsored
by C4. I should put that black electrical tape on this like they do on shows.
I know. That's the only really good flavor too.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, the strawberry one is good though.
So those are our rules, like it's not hard to be nice to people. Like, it costs $0.
It does.
And I'm not great at it, but I'm getting better. Because if just answer questions for, like, do you know how many people come onto our forum and ask questions about golf equipment that they go unanswered? I've been so bad about it, and it's going to change. And just be nice to people.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
It's amazing.
You don't have to agree with them.
No.
And healthy debating on subjects is good. Somebody doesn't have to get
butthurt. You can say it.
Yeah. Or need to dipe up because it's bleeding from the argument. You don't have to do that. Like, somebody sent me a meme, and I posted it on social media a couple of months ago, and it said, "How's your day going?" If you didn't shit your pants, it said that, so I'm saying it.
Okay.
You're having a good day. That's not a bad way to live life.
I mean, not really. No, that would be a terrible day.
I had a conversation with somebody in the golf industry the other day. We don't want to be naive, because it's still jobs and it's a business, and there's lots at stake with professional athletes and amateur golfers that take this game really seriously, but we're not curing cancer. No. We are talking about golf.
Yes.
And there's no reason to get angry about it. It's golf, and it's our business, and it's our livelihood, but not by selling products, by talking to you guys and helping you guys. And we take it really seriously. But at the same time, everybody wants to be a better human being, I think. Maybe.
I hope so.
When they get away from social media, maybe.
Yeah.
We're not in it for the clicks, as a bunch of people said last week. I don't care if you click. I mean, I want you present on our forum, but we're not a clickbait kind of place.
No.
And we're not going to be. So, we've shared the story on why we started the events originally, which is because it's harder to be an ass to somebody if you want to meet them at an event. That's just the truth. So, and we stand by that. David Hibbler with the greatest comment ever in our YouTube. It says, "But you might be able to prevent cancer with Coral Safe." That's right. The link is below.
Our new marketing department.
Yeah, David Hibbler just got a new job as our marketing manager. We don't have one of those. That's probably why we're terrible at it. But yeah, so that's how we pick captains is, be active on our forum, and you will get a chance. I cannot stress that enough. You will get a chance.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of events that we do, and a lot of them need a captain, and you will get a chance to be one. It's that simple. Most people, when they get chosen, say, "Oh, I don't know if I'm deserving." And David Hibbler's in the chat, so I'm going to call him out, because I just had to tell him that it's time for him to not worry and smile and relax and enjoy it, because he did a fantastic job at the hardest captain job there is, which is the granddaddy, because it's like 10 months of, I don't want to say babysitting, but that's because that sounds derogatory, like that the participants are babies, and I don't mean it that way, but you're coaching and general managing and dealing with it for 10 months, and then you finally get there and it starts, and then afterward you got to do the same thing for the equipment reviews. Just step away, smile, think of those memories, and enjoy it. Last THPR question, and then we have a couple more things about giving gifts to each other.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. I know I'm the devil
that
on
way
this
I can
one.
take a drink of this delicious non-advertising beverage.
No, but it's at least a good flavor. Okay, so I posted this on the forum. I am the worst gift giver in the It is. It's true. I'm not. You can say it. I'm not offended by it. I am the worst gift giver in the history of gift giving, and it's not as if I don't listen. I take notes all year long. I just am not creative. I can't come up with stuff. I think of practical, stupid stuff like you're cold. Here's a robe. Like this is not a good gift, but this is how my brain works. So, and my birthday is 2 days after his birthday, which means I have to give the gift before him. So I prefer just a no gift policy, just all year long. No birthdays, no anniversary, no holidays, no gift giving. We can do stuff together. Like we bought a house this year.
No, just kidding.
Oh, now you're really not getting a gift. We can do things together, but
bought a house, we bought cars, like
these are expensive things. So like to me, that's the gift, like I'd rather spoil Arrow rotten and then we don't need to.
And we do that.
And the other thing is I am personally of the belief that a gift means more when it's not expected. So you go to a store or you try a meal or whatever, and it makes you think of somebody else. So then you send that person, like I remember one time we went to this breakfast place in Nashville and they had these homemade jams. And I was like, well, my mother-in-law loves homemade jam. So I bought it and I sent it to her. That meant more to her than me getting her a gift on her birthday. Those are the kind of things that to me are more special. So I prefer gift giving in that way than I do just the holidays.
I tend to agree. I'm pretty creative about the gifts.
You're so creative. That's the other thing. God, he is so thoughtful and so creative when it comes.
You're going to ruin my reputation.
I know.
Stop.
And so thoughtful and so creative when it comes to gifts. And it's, I just can't keep up.
Two things came to mind during that speech there. The first is, this is a true story. We will never forget my stepmother, her mother-in-law's anniversary, because my real mother and my stepmother have the same birthday.
Yes, they do.
That's crazy, but it's true. But no, we're not big on gifts. I'd be really hard to shop for. I work in the industry that is my one true passion. I buy what I want. You know what the other thing is? People assume like I don't really buy a lot of stuff. I mean,
no,
when I'm on a project, I do.
Yeah, you just when you buy,
yeah, they're big.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we're not giving gifts this year. We got Arrow a bunch of stuff. He unwraps one each night because it's the holidays, and that's about it. We love that to see the Secret Santa thing that you guys do on the forum.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
And stuff like that. It's awesome.
And to be fair, the one time I actually did get creative to buy you a gift, like 3 days before, you were like, "Oh, I just bought this." And it was what I was going to buy you.
What was that?
I don't remember. I blocked it out of my
Let me tell you how hard it is to shop for her for one other reason, though.
Oh, well, yeah. This does make it difficult for him.
So she handles the finances in our household. Thank God. We'd probably be homeless if I did.
I believe our accountant said we'd be living in a box.
Yeah. It'd be a nice box, but
it would be.
It'd
be a bougie box.
Yeah. And anytime I buy something, regardless if it's a gift or not, I immediately get a message like, "What'd you buy here?" It's like, oh, son of a bitch.
Because I get the notifications and the credit cards.
It makes it really, really hard. So I just stopped, and it makes it easier. And just say, here's your gift of nothing.
I'm good with that.
So that's pretty much our show this week. Go out and get some Coral Safe. Again, the link is in the description on this video. We'll have a forum thread up on it. Trust me when I say the deodorant stick, again, this brand, or you don't buy this brand, you buy another one, get a stick and keep it in your golf bag. It is a game changer as far as reapplication during a round. You don't have to get stuff all over you. And then get the little clip-on one that goes right on your bag, so you'll always have it. Not expensive. It's not some crazy bougie brand or anything like that. Both of those items, I think, are under $10. And then don't forget BarkBox. If you have a dog, everybody loves BarkBox. If you have a dog that's not like Era, who can't have these treats, definitely pick it up. If you use our link at www.barkbox.com/GHP golf, that's much easier for me to say. You get a free month with your subscription anytime you do it. So sign up there and get your free gift, or free month, excuse me. And we'll be back next week with another show and a great contest.
Happy holidays, everybody.